Hi team, welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you clicked on this because I have so much to talk about on this topic. I love everything that is related to careers, jobs, interviews, all of that. It just makes me so excited. From crafting the perfect cover letter to demolishing an interview and then the negotiations that come afterwards. It's all just so much fun for me. And if you haven't seen my other videos, definitely check them out. I do a lot of videos having to do with career. I do work from home vlogs having to do with my day as a digital organizer in Washington, DC. And there's also just general lifestyle videos that I do as well. Anyway, let's get back to the main topic of the video, which is how to find a job in DC. And this also will work for most other big cities. And I think it's pretty, you can definitely take elements from this video towards your field. So there's a lot to be learned in this video. There are a few things that I want you to go into this video remembering. Know your worth, know your values, do your best to stick with them, and do your research. You definitely want to work at a place where you like the people and you like what they're doing. So let's get started. So no matter what city that you move to, I feel like big cities tend to have their own focus. DC is definitely focused on politics, social justice issues. If you move to New York, maybe you're really into finance. Seattle, I don't know, tech, finance. There's Palo Alto, tech, I don't know. Every big city has their own thing, I would say. So if you're moving to DC, you're likely totally passionate about a certain group of people, a political party, a powerful person, or you're just passionate about like half-smoked hot dogs, which we are known for. Anyway, so let's start with step one. Go directly to the source. If you're passionate about climate change and have a research background, use those research skills to find the place that you'd like to work. Even just a quick Google like climate change research DC will bring up like the Pew Institute of Ocean Science, Ocean and Climate Change Institute, Global Coral Reef Alliance, the Environmental Defense. They often have, and I would just go to their websites and then check out the career section, and that's a good place to start. You should definitely do research about who gives them the money, what they have done in years past, and search their staff and their background as well. So this is something particularly for DC, but I would also do this in any other city, just so you can know a little bit more about who is giving this place their money. How do they make their money? Is that something that you agree with? Is that something that aligns with your values? And would you be proud to work there? That is definitely something I pay attention to when I go into the job search process. So step two, I would highly recommend doing what you want, not necessarily where you want. So I got into organizing, which is like organizing people to take action and to do something. And I got into organizing at a place that focuses on lowering drug prices. I didn't really know anything about lowering prescription drug prices. It aligned with my values because I want people to be able to afford their medications. So I was like, this is a good cause for me to work for because I agree with this and it would help a lot of people. And that's definitely something that I was looking for in a job. So even though the job might not be exactly what you're looking for or in the thing that you really care about, maybe if it aligns with your values and you could see it taking you somewhere or teaching you skills that would benefit you in the future, it would be worth it to take it, maybe. I took this job, I got to learn a ton of different things, and that skill set at this entry-level job helped me to get my next job. So maybe if you're interested in research and you really want to end poverty, and you see two listings, one at the Center for Children and Families at George University or New York University or whatever, and one at Innovations for Poverty Action, apply to both. Because if you don't get the Poverty Action one, you will likely still learn a lot still learn a ton at research at CCF, and it will get you a job that you really want in the future. So be flexible, do what you want, not necessarily where you want. Step three, Indeed and Glassdoor are my BFFs. a good way to find a job, like on Indeed. That's how I found most of my jobs here in DC. So I would type the thing that you really like, or the thing that you want to do, maybe like research policy assistant, or organizer, or finance analyst, or whatever in the city that you want, and then sort by date. So you should always try to be applying for jobs that have just posted, that are brand new, and likely you're one of the first applicants. So I would highly prioritize applying for those jobs over jobs that have been on for longer than 2-3 weeks, because they are probably getting tons and tons of applicants, and they might not even see your name because they're already interviewing people. So definitely apply to jobs that have posted recently. In addition to that, I would also highly recommend checking Glassdoor. You know, you might have found a place that aligns with your values, is the kind of work that you want to do, you believe in their mission, whatever, but you go on Glassdoor and there's just like a 1-star rating for the entire company, and everyone hates it, the benefits suck, the managers suck, everyone sucks. It might be worth it to cut it out. So step 4, don't live in DC or the city that you're applying to jobs in. Here's what to do. So what I did, it was a little bit easier for me because I had just moved out of DC student housing back to California. And I just left my DC address on my resume, and I made it very clear on my cover letter that I was in California right now, but I will be returning, and I can return as quickly as you need be. So in your cover letter, probably somewhere near the top, I would put something very clear like that: able and willing to relocate to New York City immediately, or DC immediately. And don't just say that, obviously do your research into the neighborhoods, into the housing market, into places that you might be interested in living. The people that I ended up living with were able to FaceTime me in, and I saw the apartment that way, and it ended up really working out for me. So yeah, just making it very clear early on that you're happy and willing to relocate will definitely help, because if they want someone to start work soon, that is something that's helpful. But especially right now, obviously that doesn't really matter. Everyone's starting remote. I started my job remote, and so it might not even matter at all. But anyway, usually after you receive an offer, they'll give you a few weeks to relocate anyway. So my step 5 is to show that you are a real person with emotions and feelings. So this might be a little counterintuitive. I know that people always tell me to be really professional and like serious and just like the skill set and whatever in interviews. But what I have found to really help me in interviews is to show some kind of emotion, or show a little bit of who I am as a person, and not just like I like baseball, or like when they ask you like what do you like to do on weekends, like to go on hikes. Like maybe like I haven't found that has helped me as much as selecting a hobby or thing that you can relate back to your job. You should always be relating anything that you say in an interview back to the job that you are doing. I also applied to a law firm as a research assistant, and the HR interviewer was blown away by my interviews. I had the skill set, you know, she was very impressed with me, but what set me apart from other applicants was talking about my emotion, and some of my hobbies, which included meditation, yoga, and I like mentioned that I like to do those after work or on the weekend, and then I related it back to the work. I talked about being able to integrate those hobbies and those teachings into my interactions with colleagues. Not only was the perfect candidate in regards to skill set sitting right in front of her, but this person also had the patience and emotional intelligence to deal with colleagues and difficult situations. So, you know, I made it very clear, like my meditation skills have helped me in dealing with difficult situations with colleagues, because I have that patience and that understanding and that empathy to understand where a person is coming from and work with them to resolve the issue. So things like that, you know, like you don't have to go into like anger, passion, like at my job, but talking a little bit about hobbies that make you an emotional person or empathetic or very understanding of other people would definitely help your interview. So you basically use your quirks and hobbies to your advantage. Step 6, always negotiate up. When salary talks happen, don't be afraid to ask for more. I only apply for jobs that pay well now. So my job listed like a range. They were like 70,000 through 80,000, and they ended up offering me 72,000. Like it had to do with experience, and I immediately was like 75. I definitely should have said 77, so I was a little afraid to negotiate up, but I said 75, got what I wanted. And it literally never hurts to ask. If you're at the place where salary is being discussed, don't sell yourself short. You need that money to live, you know, so yeah, don't be afraid to negotiate up. And if the salary is low and you really are passionate about it, that's worth it, I would say. I've definitely had situations where I took a lower paying job because I really was passionate about that job compared to the other place that I was looking for that would have paid me a little bit higher. But it all has to do with your situation. If you really need to be making more money, sometimes it is better to just take that for a few years, learn what you can, and then move out. Okay, so I am back. As you can tell, I have changed, and that's because I had to leave to go see my OBGYN. Anyway, I am now back, and let's continue to the last tip. I'm a little out of it. Anyway, so step 7 is my two questions to always ask at the end of the interview. When they say, do you have any questions for me? You, first of all, should always have questions there. That's a good time to find out like everything you could possibly know and want to know about the atmosphere, the environment, length of work days, you know, like if you don't want to work 11-hour work days, then ask how long their work days are, things like that, you know? But some good questions that I always ask are, what are some of the biggest challenges that you feel your department or company as a whole, if it's smaller, will be facing in the next year, and how is this position designed to mitigate those issues or challenges? So that's a good question to ask because it shows that you are a solutions-oriented person, or you're interested in finding out the challenges and solving them. So that is a question that I always ask. And then the last question that I always ask at the very end of the interview, after I've charmed them, showing them how emotionally intelligent I am, how I use my skill set for good, I always say this. Based on what we talked about today, is there anything leaving you with hesitancy in hiring me for this position? So this is a great question for a number of reasons. So obviously when they're looking to hire someone, they have a list of requirements that they want from someone. And maybe you told them all your skill set and your personal whatever, everything, and maybe there was something left in their mind that was like, oh, this person isn't really skilled in this one thing, or they don't have this program that they know how to use or whatever, and this gives them an opportunity to share that with you, and then gives you an opportunity to convince them that they should hire you regardless, or that you can complete and do that thing. So maybe they'll say, you know, actually, like, we were really looking for someone who knows how to use Python. And that was like something important to us. You can say, you know, like, I have had background in other programs like SPSS, and I do really want to learn Python, and I would be so excited and so happy to learn how to use Python in order to get this work done, because I am really passionate about this work and I think I would be a great fit. And that actually happened with me multiple times. This is a question that I always ask, and it gives me an opportunity to sell myself even further. My interviewer in my last round told me, you know, we wanted someone who knew how to do ads a bit more. And I actually think that there wasn't anything holding her back from hiring me, but she had to come up with something quick that she was unsure about because she had to answer my question. But she brought that up, and I was like, you know, like I have always wanted to learn how to run ads, and that is something that, you know, I really think that I could learn how to do very easily based on my past experiences. I have learned how to use every program myself that is on my resume, and this is just another thing that I want to add to my resume and be able to use at your organization. And I got hired so hard. So anyway, those are my tips on how to land a job in DC or anywhere else that you want. 100% ask that question. Please let me know in the comments if you succeeded in landing your interview or this job, and let me know if you didn't. Let me know what went wrong. Let me know if you hated this video and you thought these tips were horrible. I'd love to learn new tips. I'm always looking for new tips. And yeah, so thanks so much for watching. I really hope you guys have a good day. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And yeah, let's go. Bye guys.